You talking about you supposed to marry a black man. Remember when she said back earlier on when we was reading the book that she intended on marrying a black man? Yeah, right. But you ended up marrying Puerto Rican Pedro. When you had Flip Wilson right there, girl, Geraldine was ready to marry you, girl. That's one of the blackest mothers in entertainment business at the time. Oh, my life, I'll be waiting for you. No, how you do. Well, hello there, love bugs. Hello there, babies. If you have not already done so, please remember to like, share, subscribe, and tip your favorite narrator via Cash App at $NAROB on YouTube. All right. Now, with all that being said, we are wrapping Mary Wilson's book up. July 1977. As far as I knew, Motown was proceeding with Sherry and Suze's plan to find a third singer. I wasn't surprised to read that numerous stories on Sherry and Suze where they talked about how their new Supremes would be different. They boasted about Motown letting them write their own songs and all the plans they had in store. Mary was unfazed. She wasn't tripping. But let me tell you what the problem was, okay? Because remember, Pedro then stuck his foot up Mary's ass and said, look, it's time to lead the Supremes. They ain't doing nothing for you and you ain't doing nothing for them. And when I was reading down in the comments, one of the commenters, forgive me if I don't know your name, was like, all that time Mary spent with the Supremes and she don't know how to revamp the Supremes herself. Why do you need outside help? And I was asking myself the same thing. I'm like, Mary, you keep up with the sign of the times. Use a shaker and a mover, or at least your husband is. But you should be able to know what's hot. And she's saying she hate disco. Bitch. Now, if Mary Wilson would have got with the disco, that would have saved the Supremes. I mean, because and they might have went down with the disco too, but at least they would have had a good run. I was still working on the terms of my new contract with Motown as a soloist. Shortly after we got to South America, we were notified that Motown did not approve of my taking out another group of Supremes, even though we were not billed as the Supremes. Pedro, who'd stayed home to attend to the contract, warned all the promoters and television people we worked with not to announce us as the Supremes, but as Mary Wilson of the Supremes. Obviously, they and Motown didn't want a competing group out there, which I understood. Now, let me tell you a problem, okay, because we got two Supremes. Actually, we got the Supremes. Okay. And then we got Mary Wilson of the Supremes. But Mary Wilson had two background singers with her. So basically, it's two sets of Supremes. Remember when we read the Temptations book and watched the Temptations movies? It was two Temptations touring at the same time. Oh, you know what? It was the lead singers of the Temptations. Because Berry Gordy was like, oh, no, bitch. Lo and behold, there was still some contracts out there with the Supremes. So Mary had to pull back and go out on the final tour with the Supremes. She's like, no, I'm done with the Supremes. I'm done. Oh, no, you ain't, bitch. You got some stuff over here you got to do. In September 1977, I filed my complaint against Motown with the Labor Commission. In it, I made a number of allegations against Motown Record Corporation, Multimedia Management Corporation, International Management Company, and Berry Gordy Jr. The case fell under the labor commissioner's jurisdiction in part because in California it is illegal for a single person or entity to function as both manager and advisor and agent, someone who finds work and negotiates contract for work. Motown manages through its multimedia management corporation, even when we hired outside managers and functioned as an agent through its international management company as well. The fact that these were all interrelated subsidiaries of Motown and all under Berry Gordy Jr.'s control presented a clear conflict of interest. Furthermore, because they had the same address and were controlled by the same people, they were in effect a single entity, which violated California law. As annoyed as I was with Motown, I was still very reluctant to leave because it was my family, because it was black owned. Girl, you don't give a fuck. Girl, please. You talking about you supposed to marry a black man. Remember when she said back earlier on when we was reading the book that she intended on marrying a black man? Yeah, right. But you ended up marrying Puerto Rican Pedro or pandering Puerto Rican Pedro when you had Flip Wilson right there, girl. Geraldine was ready to marry you, girl. That's one of the blackest motherfuckers in the entertainment business at the time. Girl, Mary Wilson's so full of shit. Come to find out that Motown was right all along. She looking at it, oh, this is family, this is family. Berry Gordy did the same shiz that all record companies did. Everybody be like, they took my money, they took my money. Girl, look, it was a rite of passage for a Mother Hunchy to steal your money. Ask the TLC, ask Escape. Who else been hollering they took all my money? Everybody that worked for the Puffy. Every single, it's just what them ninjas do. They take your money. Okay? So Mary Wilson now admits that basically all companies do this shit. I wanted so badly to hate Motown for everything, but I had to face the facts. I was responsible for where I was. I just hadn't had the right advisors and I didn't have all the answers. Now I was truly paying the price. It was like the line in the song Send in the Clowns that laments, isn't it rich, isn't it queer, losing my timing this late in my career. I mean, how many... September 29th, 1977, my second child and first son, Pedro A. Ferrer, was born. So now, she done took care of the previous contract she had where she had to tour with the Supremes, okay? And now she back with Mary Wilson of the Supremes. In the end, I found two wonderful ladies. Karen Jackson, who was to be with me for the next 8 years, worked as a telephone operator and had sung with a few local bands. Karen Ragland was an actress and singer from Virginia. Both were single, attractive, and dedicated. Broke. So motherfucking. Okay, you know how? Do you know what that feels when you so motherfucking broke so motherfucking? They have no money. Murray got this prized possession. It is a 4-carat diamond ring. She said it was one of the first things she bought for herself with the money she got as a Supreme. So anyway, Pedro came to her and said, I know this guy who will use your ring as collateral. They gonna give us $10,000, and then when we pay them back, they're gonna give us the ring back. Girl, you should have known that it was gonna be some shenanigans with that. Okay? Because when she got the money back, she went to Pedro and was like, can you go to your friend and tell your friend we got the money so I get my ring back? Oh yeah, baby, I forgot to tell you. They sold that ring. Cindy had done a fine job of training Karen, so we were ready for our tour of Germany and Europe, where we performed at officers' clubs and a few swank discos. The trip became awkward because Motown was still threatening promoters. We were supposed to have gone on to England, but Motown quashed that tour and caused various cancellations in several other countries. Each cancellation dealt another financial blow, but fortunately, our loyal staff and many of the people we worked with stayed with us. I don't know why you thought that you was going to be the only one that Berry Gordy didn't put in the corner. He puts everybody in the corner. And then you stayed under contract with Motown. You know what the nigga do. You've seen him at his best. Okay? When he say he love you. He say, okay, you can go be free. Run, be free. Run, little birdie. How the fuck a bird gonna run? But run, little birdie, and then put the nigga in the corner and don't let him out until he get ready. That's what he do. It was over a year since I'd officially left the Supremes. Sherry and Suze had not been able to revive the group and were at work on the duo album Partners, which was released in 1979 to mixed reviews. Sherry filed a lawsuit against Pedro and me, alleging that we had withheld an accounting of the Supremes' income from her. This case was later settled amicably out of court. Bit by bit, we were finally able to negotiate my solo deal with Motown. The album Mary Wilson was released in August of 1979. August 28th, 1979, I made my true American solo debut at Manhattan's hot nightclub, New York. The date was very exciting for me personally. The press came out in full force and the room was packed with celebrities and fans. There were all kinds of stylists running around backstage helping me. One came in, obviously excited. Girl, guess who just came in? Miss Ross. And I think she's on her way up here. Well, everyone went crazy. Here, girl, put on some lipstick. Put this in your hair. Hurry! Just then, Sammy Davis Jr.'s wife, Alt Vasi, came in with the guys from the Village People. Andy Warhol stopped in and gave me a good luck kiss. And Jeffrey Holder and his wife dropped in to tell me to break a leg. When Diane and her first husband, Bob Ellis, got there, they both made it clear that they were really supportive of my solo debut. The minute she walked in the door, she embraced me and was very warm and expressed genuine happiness over my debut. See, I don't know why y'all be hating on Diana. Diane was happy for the bitch. Happy. In late 1979, I had given Pedro 1 year to clean up his act. If he didn't, our marriage would be over. He made some attempts to change but couldn't. Throughout 1980, the abuse continued and his violent sexual aggression became unbearable. By 1981, she was a free woman. Free from Motown, free from the Supremes, and free from her husband. My marriage was over. I turned my full attention to my career and my children. Without a record label and with a family to support, I was back working all over the United States and the rest of the world. My backup singers were now Karen Jackson and Gloria Scott. We were billed as the Supremes. Mary Wilson. In October 1981, a booking agent asked me if I wanted to perform at Studio 54. Child, she wanted to so bad, but it ain't work out. shit just don't be working out. No matter what you might say about Barry, he has a sentimental streak. He wooed back the Four Tops and the Temptations, and in the spring of 1982 launched a much publicized reunion of all 7 living Temps. Included were not only the originals, Melvin Franklin, Eddie Kendricks, Richard Street, and Otis Williams, but David Ruffin, Dennis Edwards, and Glenn Leonard. Around this time, someone at Motown figured it would be a good idea to get the Supremes back together too.